Township of Palawan, first monthly meeting, March 3rd, 2020.
Okay.
They were delicious.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. 7:06. Adequate notice has been given to the Express Times and the Star Gazette satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. We all can please stand for a moment of silence and flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes from January 21st, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Okay, second? Second.
Okay, Babinski?
Yes.
Gray? Councilman Melvin, you have to abstain? Right. Stillo?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. Motion to pay bills. Payment of bills presented in proper form, signed by the director of each department and approved by the majority of members and listed on the bill list. So moved. Second.
Okay, Babinski?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Melvin?
Yes.
Stillo?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. Public comments. Are there any public comments this evening pertaining to agenda items? Seeing none, we are going to move on to the assignment of the tax sale certificate, 2016-22, lot 45.02, lot 13. Kevin, you want to handle that?
Yeah.
This is the
one where we have, we did our first round of advertisements, we got a bid for $68,500. You guys thought that was a number that at least would we go to step two. So I did another round of notices that were published in the paper, and I had to send it to the property owner as well directly, basically saying, okay, we got a bid for $68,500. This is the complete redemption amount, which I forget what the number is. It's quite a bit higher than that, because there's some sewer charges in there too. And that we would have this public hearing tonight to entertain any other bid. So first of all, is there anybody here from the public that's here on this issue, on this assignment of tax sale? Your name, sir? Patrick Hunter. Patrick Hunter, we spoke on the phone. So Mr. Hunter is the gentleman who put the $68,500 bid in. Is there anybody else here other than Mr. Hunter? Okay, I'm not surprised. So I'm going to go for the record. Going once, going twice. Public hearing is closed. So now at this point, you guys have to decide whether to accept Mr. Hunter's $68,500. I did follow with him briefly today, just to see if Paul Matthews would have to appear. I told him no, he didn't have to appear, but I couldn't promise him whether somebody else would come and bid. And we also talked a little bit, and he actually was kind enough to send me a copy of his licensed site remediation specialist, his LSRP, the proposal he has for the cleanup over there. And it's actually a company I'm familiar with. They're right in Hybrids, right down the street from my office. I've worked with them before, some other clients. They're, frankly, I use them because I think that the primary specialist, licensed specialist, Sue, I believe her name is, isn't it? Sandra, sorry. She's excellent, and she's very practical, and she's very cost competitive. And I don't want to get into this gentleman's, his specific contracts and proposals. But I can tell you, I was kind of blown away by the cost. It's a pretty high number. There are still tanks there. There was an old round of tanks removed. They weren't removed correctly, apparently, so there's not one but two still claims they're being NJDEP. There's $12,000 to $13,000 worth of fees that have to be paid that were outstanding, which you may have already advanced in the hope of possibly getting this. I'm not sure, or you're about to, I forget which. And then there's don't want to get into specifics, but it looks like, a possible six-figure cleanup there. And it's just tank septic canal, there's soil remediation that does need to be done. So, I just put that out there for you guys, so you have some context for the 68.5. I think that's why the bid that we received is not the full redemption amount. We do have the authority to accept it. I think that what you're seeing is a reflection of the cost of the cleanup. And again, you guys have to evaluate the council, but it's nice to get a property cleaned up, number one. Number two, it'll immediately go back on the tax rolls. Number three, it has to be foreclosed within 2 years, and actually foreclosed much quicker. They jumped into our shoes, foreclosed immediately. I did reach out, by the way, to the gentleman who bid on the school, because he was right there on top, just in case he had an interest. And I got no response on that. So, we have one suitor. The other option is just to keep it going in foreclosure, and again, I will absolutely get a tax foreclosure judgment on this. This gentleman doesn't have the ability to redeem, there's only certain people who do. So, I would say, at the end of the day, sometime later this year, we would own it, but then we have to go right back out and find somebody to buy it, and get it back on the tax rolls. Anyway, no guarantee we're gonna get this amount more or less or what.
So moving forward from here on, if we decide to do this, the taxes will be paid every quarter. Absolutely, just like
You
you
guys
are.
step into their shoes. We get a check for 68,500, as soon as I get the tax sales on it, which, probably by this week, I would circulate that draft for you. So you get 68,500 for treasury, and it goes back in the rolls and the taxes have to be paid, and still at that point.
Do you have any correspondence from the owner at all, any?
No, not at all. And Carrie told me I did not expect any, because she's been probably previous to this. I've been just apparently, for whatever reason, I was actually got
What happens to Applegate Bakery?
the people who are there and this property. Nothing will happen technically. I mean, essentially, until we perfect your foreclosure, the current tenant, the current owner will probably have the ability to continue getting whatever rent he's getting, unless the gentleman takes some action. I'll leave that up to his council. But at some point, once his foreclosure is complete, if we assign the certificate, he forecloses, he will own it. He would be in a position to then negotiate with whatever tenants are there to continue it. I mean, and we did have a brief discussion about that. He looks at it as an income-producing property, and hopefully, continue some of those things.
The other thing I want to point out is when I was up there, with private showings of the property, the realtor pointed out that somebody on that property had extended the fence into the Shimer property, the Shimer School property, which was beyond, it was over the property line. And, it was,
This gentleman,
On the other side, though, right?
I'm talking about the north
You're
side.
talking about how you're facing, if you're standing in Quick Check and you're facing the school, the right side.
Yeah.
Or you're talking
well,
about,
I'm talking about the part that abuts that property. There's a fence there that was moved over onto the property of the school that exceeds the limit of the property at the school.
to the house, that dwelling.
Correct.
Okay.
two things on that. Any encroachment to the buyer of the school property can simply eliminate or chase somebody to the...
Yeah, it would be nice
And I would
for
say,
him to know
well, yeah.
what
and
the
that's-
perimeters are, the actual perimeters.
But as an assignee of a tax certificate, he only has limited power. He's not the actual owner. So he really can't take any incidents of fee simple ownership until he really finishes the foreclosure. He will pay taxes and so on. So he gets incidents of ownership, but he doesn't have to do that.
I just think it's
But,
important
yeah.
for that to be
it's
noted.
good to know,
And the
yeah.
taxes, Kevin, you mentioned, go forward from the point you
Maximum, so.
made, back to the sewer.
So the second quarter bill isn't due yet, so that'll be due in the full when it comes. And the taxes will be due as of, yes, we sign.
And how long, assuming we took action, how long does that sign take to go into effect?
We'll take back immediately, we can record it, it's done, we're gonna have to check, it's over. Actually, the notice calculated redemption is enough, so I'm gonna date we sign it today, And that's when the taxes would start accruing on, except for full carry, that's what it is. Because that's what the statute requires, us to notice people what full pay people as of the date we have this. So we can approve it tonight, we'll do the assignment.
Can we ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Have you done other contaminated properties?
I have,
Yeah, whereabouts?
in Clifton, specifically, so if I could give you a 10-second background.
Yeah, that would be good, so we have some confidence in what you're gonna do
No,
there.
that's why I decided I should take the time to drive out here, just so you would have a name with the face. So, I'll start from the beginning on how we got here. First, thank you for taking the time to review my offers. So, I have a couple different occupations. One is to invest in distressed and contaminated real estate. So what I did is I mailed a letter to every single LSRP in the state seeking out contaminated property. But I had some luck. The real estate market being super high, banks are a little tight, and the cap rates are a little funky. You can't really make money or have positive cash flow on the normal investment that it is difficult to find. So I bought a couple of contaminated properties. I won beautification awards, rehab them, remediated, bad tenants. So my plan for this property was to maintain the tenants. So I stopped at the bakery. I had meet the owner, but Carrie, by the way, on a side note, she's a real asset. I dealt with plenty of tax collectors. She's great. She'll say that when you're a taxpayer, but she's a true asset. Super responsive to getting, always gets back to me in response to emails, very enthusiastic, positive energy to the town, and a real advocate. Anyway, back to the property. So ideally, I'd like to maintain Applegate as a tenant. I've yet to talk to them, I'm sure we'll work something out. I'm beyond reasonable, fine, whole type of person. There seems to be a truck repair place in there. There's no tourist pickups here. You can tell the parking lot. My wife is from Orange County. I've been out here a bazillion times. She's from Washington. So I suspect that person will want to stay. When I cruised around the back, I noticed that fence that you're referring to. Didn't want to ring the doorbell. It looks like they're breeding pit bulls or something in there. Didn't think that was the appropriate time to say, hey, I could be your new landlord. I just figured I'd better wait and see how things progress. But it appears there's a tenant on the upper portion. I guess from my research, there was a restaurant a million years ago, and there's a second apartment on the lower level, which appears to be from the staff vacant. So I rehabbed that. With the commercial space in the lower right-hand corner, looks like a travel agent at one point, saw some sheetrock peeling and some stuff. So I would freshen that up. So the first step is, I don't know how familiar everybody is with contaminated property. The good old state has their handout. So 12,000 is owed basically immediately. The state hasn't paid yet. If this goes through, then I would certainly pay that. I become the responsible party, responsible for the mediation. I'm not crazy, so obviously I did my due diligence with the LSRP, Sandra of GeoWorks. She produced a $109,000 estimate. There are old tanks that are in the ground. Apparently, old tanks before that, in the 90s, were removed. However, somebody took a video, but they didn't really do all the correct soil sampling, so the state's not happy. So there's two actually open active DEP cases. But when you hire an LSRP, you can't just focus on the one thing, being the old tank cases. They also have to look at the whole property. So if there's some floor drains in the shop, they actually have to test that. Here to know if they're going to find it there, remediate there. Apparently, where Applegate is, that once was a repair shop part of the building, so there are hydraulic lifts, the hydraulic fluid will leak into the bedrock, so they have to put a monitoring well, and this would be remediation there. If you look, Applegate is here at that corner where the tree is laying on top of, there's an exposed diesel tank, so I've removed that. My goal is not to have a gas station anymore. Move the tanks, move the canopy, keep the truck, repair a person if he wants to stay, or he or she, Applegate can stay, put a commercial tenant in the lower right-hand corner where the 1.1 floor, rehab the two apartments, and have tenants. And my plan was to buy hold of heat. I typically, like Clifton, I started with one property, I got to 4. I loved there so much. I tried to carry, there's a couple other properties that look like they need some help, so if this one went well, I like to stay in multiple hubs, and I build in there. So that's the plan. And sorry for the 65 offer. I did all the math. It's a giant math problem. You know, it has to pencil out a little bit of a return for the long term. And that number just fits in. I know the $109,000 estimate is going to run over a little bit because they always do. They're going to find something to find happy on. Some things aren't covered. The state, you know, in addition to taxes, you actually have to pay the state a fee for only $50,000 per year. You have to factor that in. And then to get, it used to be an NFA HOA letter, now it's an RAO letter. You get that, the state then gives you a fine on what they feel is groundwater contamination, if there is any, put it in, and there's a big bill at the end to get that letter, and then there's constant professional monitoring. So that's the quick flyby. I tried to use a local LSRP, she's actually the one who found it. The excavator is from Phillipsburg, so try to use local people, so that way, spread the wealth around. So that's a quick file. Is there any questions that I can answer on that? So if all went well, we decided to go to my attorneys, we would try to foreclose immediately. I am in touch with the two prior owners. I tracked down Janet, Albert, spoke to her. She has no love for that property. I was lucky getting in there, so I phoned with her. And then the current owner has no money left, unfortunately, so he was super anxious to get out of his name. The DEP is not sending him Christmas cards, they're sending him bills. You're sending him bills. It's a giant liability. I think he's a school teacher, from what I've heard, who tried his hand at real estate and things just didn't pan out. So that's all. Super nice guy, but so in touch with everybody. But
We might be able to get a Beaver foreclosure possibly.
I'm going to try, but
Which would,
that would accelerate things. The DEP, that site has to be remediated, that's why hurry, by September, otherwise it falls under state oversight. I do not want that, so they have to go to escrow, so they decide how to spend my money, which I don't like. I'd rather have Sandra, my own LSRP, that is familiar and reasonable rather than some state person. So that's part of the draw. So if that answers all their questions.
What sort of disruption do you expect for the bakery's business when you go through this process of rehabbing the property?
Well, I'm going to light a candle in church, not much, because apparently they have the jackhammer open the floor. I have one section where they think there was a lift, so it shouldn't be terrible. I looked at her hours, it looks like she's closed on Mondays, and she closed at 3. So obviously, again, I believe in fair rent and long-term happy tenants, that way I have no aggravation. So we're working totally around her schedule and make it work. And she's got a great review, and Gary actually recommended her apple turnovers. I was disappointed she was out on Sunday. I went too late, we knew how popular she was, so, but that's the plan. So minimal disruption.
So you expect the remediation of everything went through to be complete by September?
It has to be, or 90% of it. So, otherwise the state, cranks it up, and then I got a bigger problem. So Sandy's got to work super fast, and she's right down the road.
And for your, not just the remediation, but for the rehab of the entire property, would that include the buildings? I know Applegate's, I've been in there, and, she had voiced some concerns of her current landlord condition of the property and stuff. So that would be also including upgrades to
100%. So typically, every building I've done so far, for the most part, has been a complete gut remodel. Can't do that here because the tenant's there.
Sure.
And I've got some really grisly looking stuff in down the raining inside for 12 years. I have hanging on my office wall at home. Beautification awards has worked out, knocked up wood here. But apparently, not to bore you with a 30-minute story here, there was privately held mortgage from Janet. I believe his name was Kevin, I think, the current owner, failed to pay. They worked out some settlement that released it. She was going to take the property back over, some issue with her attorney that she used, and it wasn't paying out quite right. Then she found out about contamination, but she thought she had a buyer on the hook, and everything has been ownerless. When I went to Applegate, undercover, the person at the counter said that, the bill had only been here, tried to stick around, but I don't want to excite anybody or create anybody unnecessary stress. I don't know about it. She said, buildings and such disrepair, there's been nobody to pay rent to, there's been nobody to fix anything, nobody to call. So obviously I want people happy, I want my homework. So, yeah, the short answer is yes, the building will be fixed, just like there's a car over the roof, so they get a roof immediately and paint and whatever else it needs to put into the building.
The other thing I would let you know, which I don't know if you're aware of, and you seem pretty thorough with due diligence, but we designate that property as an area and get redeveloped. I don't know if you've ever done a redevelopment project, but that gives us, and you as well, once you acquire title. And again, if we go forward with this assignment, I am praying that we get that, we will foreclose it. That will really help everybody.
Oh, for sure.
But since it's been a designated area of redevelopment, we can sit down and negotiate with you exactly what you want to accomplish there. Basically contract with you for what's going to be done, regardless of what the zoning is. And it is a commercial zone. So if you want to do something different than what's in the zoning, we would certainly be willing to talk to you. I can set you up. I think the best way to get the introduction to that would be to our planner, Jim Kyle. But I think it can offer enormous flexibility to you, unless the existing zoning is fine.
Yeah, I think it is, I was just gonna keep the two apartments, little store, everything was gonna stay the same, so.
The other nice thing that we look for sometimes is they call pilots, payment and little taxation, which again, since you're investing a lot of money in this, a redevelopment property has the ability to enter into a pilot, which where you pay a contractual amount in lieu of taxes. So keep in touch with me if you go forward here. I can put you in touch with Jim Kyle, and he can kind of, he's done a lot of it, I've been there, I'm not myself, but it may be something hugely beneficial to you in terms of getting a fixed concept of what your bottom line is going to be, because that's what that is, it's a 30-year fixed payment on a graduating scale in lieu of taxes. So it gives you very specific certainty. Banks love it if you depend on mortgaging anything. So that's a big deal. And there's a little bit of work to get that done, but I just point that out to you, that's a possibility.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you staying in touch with me throughout the process. And again, Carrie called me on her day off, emailing me on her day off, trying to keep me in touch. And she didn't even relate that I expected, but she's a true asset. So again, if I get complaints, there's a plug, so thank you again. So, if you have any other questions, I thank you for your time and consideration. I really appreciate it. I hope this works out.
I move to close public comment officially and to move forward with the assignment of tax sale certificate.
That assignment will be Mr. Patrick Hunter or an entity if he so chooses. Do you want it personally to you?
Shadow Ridge Realty.
Okay, we'll work that out.
Second.
Okay, Babinski,
Yes.
Gray,
Yeah.
Melvin,
Yes.
Stillo,
Yes.
Slack.
Yes. Congratulations. If you have my contact, why don't you send the check for the 68.5 payable to the township of Acton, my office. I'll hold that in trust. I'm gonna do the assignment tomorrow. I'll get over to you and send it to wherever you'd like.
Great.
And we'll do this. Sure done.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Open the book.
Yeah, sounds great. We're looking, a couple of invitation awards around here would be awesome.
All right, moving on. Attorney's report, Kevin?
I have to quit. After our last meeting, I did speak with Habitat. They do want that property. They're doing some in my, where I live in Franklin, they're doing the first two coming up. I should actually do 16 for them. So we're thinking we may not be able to get to that next year. They definitely would like to do it. And Dave, I think I sent an email to you to try to get a date coordinated with Ben Armstrong out of the site. And so I don't have to go with it if you want to. He's a great guy, but, and they said great, they will definitely do something there. I think it's a great property. They will come here and do a presentation, at the next meeting. That can be real good. So they have a beautiful PowerPoint, I've seen it, it's really neat. And they did say that to the extent we can,
Is that presentation generic with regard to about Habitat for Humanity, or will it be, this is the type of house that we're planning, the design,
there's fully colorized renderings of what their houses look like.
with the actual,
With
not
the actual house.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's actually a couple, they're starting to get pretty active. There's some right around in this neighborhood. You're gonna be able to go see them right there.
Yeah.
Go live Southern Harmony, there's one popping up. And said that, you know, to the extent we can work it out, we can utilize some of our open space trust money to get to them to do the demo, which I think would be better. Because then we're awarding them wage potentially. I think that's definitely doable. Now, we got 15, if you recall, but that goes into our general till, I would say if this goes, has this goes forward, and I think if you guys want to go, want it to happen, it's gonna, we would give them some money out of our open space trust fund, because that's just sitting there, it doesn't affect the budget.
We have to evaluate that, there's some other plans for that money that we've got, a few more.
When we, I think it was you that sent that out, or a copy of that, they were interested in getting someone that they would be regularly in contact with within the township.
We're gonna do a sidewalk with Dave.
And so you would be the person, when they have questions, they can call you up and have an immediate answer.
Yeah, but I think it's just a question of, we've said it before, we'll do a presentation, if you guys decide to go forward, we will, what they asked us to do, by the way, example, Franklin, we worked out a deal with them, but they kind of said the same thing. They try not to bite off more than they can chew, they're very realistic in their time frame, but they're very active. But they said, look, we'll hold on to the property, we're not gonna be able to take it until next year. And that's exactly what they did. January came around this year, said, Kevin, get those deeds circulating, so I think
So that includes the demo, but would they want to do the demo this year and start next year?
I think they'd be happy not to start that until they're ready to go. Let them do it. But they're doing two, I think they call them board houses. I mean, these houses are gonna be up in like 72 hours or something. They got something that's amazing. And I said, well, you have to see the presentation, it's great. But the nice thing about it is that we get an affordable unit out of it. And the family that goes in there has to put several hundred hours of sweat equity into building that property. And everybody else who's there is a volunteer, 100% volunteer. It's pretty cool. So they'll be there next month, and I'll make sure to.
Next month or next meeting?
I'm sorry, next meeting. And we'll go from there. So that's happy for that. Shimer, I did talk actually today, right after the auction, I sent him, I got hold of it. I had actually still never spoken with the purchaser, but we were able to email back and forth, bringing this attorney, I sent the attorney, basically all of our tax title that we had. I spoke with him today, he's ordered his title search, so, I told him, okay, we close by mail or anything like, but, we have to close by the end of the month, as the contract says, and so we indicate that won't be a problem, so that appears to be, on schedule. I know that down further on the agenda, we have the motion to get those boxes out of there, which I think is a great idea. Really, he hasn't been sitting there for years waiting for us to do something with that building, so we're at that point.
Would this be a good time for me to add in, as I'm going on, my experience with China, which that's my knowledge.
When you get to your report, I think that's fine.
For the tax appeal, I had certain discovery, and that's going full steam ahead. And I think by our next meeting, we should have our tax foreclosure on everything, but now that I'm not including that property, there's a sign, it's fine, I can pick and choose whatever I want. And there's a couple others I think we're gonna pull out, which I'll go over with you after that file, I'll get you a copy of the complaint, but that'll be done by our next meeting. And, I can't think of anything else unless you guys have some.
Anything new on the mall at all, or no?
Well, we have a September, we have a third week of September trial date. The case manager was entered, he entered discovery deadlines, all of which I've complied with. So I've served the request for production documents last week. Noticed two depositions of, Elliot Messine, and, we got Igor Nadal, he seems to be the other major player. I see his name all over documents, so the judge is, really not real happy. The only thing I don't understand, candidly, is the judge consolidated years 16, 17, 18, but not 19. And, I asked the judge for a conference on that, but it doesn't make any sense to me, because he should only one appraisal, one trial, for efficiency purposes. I don't know what the hang-up is with that, but we'll fight that battle when we get there. There'll be a case management conference in June, July, but the judge wants to get these tried, I want to get them tried.
I'm sorry, could you explain what this trial is about for me?
Yeah, this trial is about, the owner of the mall is appealing its tax assessment for years 16, 17, 18, and 19. And to date, their offers of settlement were basically resulting in very, very high, potentially seven-figure refunds. But we went down that road once in part. I just told them we're not going down that road again. So it's a major issue for this township. So we have a good expert on board. I think there's 2 deadlines for exchange of those reports, other than repetitions in April. So that's heating up pretty quickly now. We did get a federal offer recently. I haven't bothered to pass on the one yet, but it's still pretty low, to be honest with you. But I don't think we're really going to get anything serious out of it until we get the depositions. And I don't even know if they're going to show up.
Well, I said keep your feet to the fire and resolve this and move on.
Beyond that, I've heard nothing further about redevelopment and things like that. I did touch base with Jim Kyle, who hasn't heard anything either.
I actually reached out to Marilyn Gucci, and she said no correspondence either with, and reminded me that these new proposed uses are not in the current zone. Didn't seem real eager to want to.
Yeah. Other than that, actually already on the agenda, one thing I did, there was recommended for annual home loan, and did those bids back, so everything else I think we're covered.
Any news on the Regalsville General Store?
I saw sketch.
I have a report.
Oh, really? Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
Excellent.
I'm still waiting for that project plan, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I'm still waiting for that project plan I requested.
Yeah.
I went by there yesterday, I saw some staff thing up on the side of the road.
All right, that's all you have, Kevin, then? And the deposit check on the sale didn't bounce, correct?
Nope. No, I think we have a legitimate buyer this time.
What happened to the money left from the last one?
You guys got half the next thing, got half out there. That was, that kind of
All right, thank you, Kevin. All right, we're gonna move on to council reports. We'll start with you, Steve.
Yeah, I don't have anything except for the fact that I had mentioned at the last meeting I would get a hold of Kevin. We would go out and look at guardrails, and then I had to go out of town, and I'm gonna be out of town this weekend out of state, and the following weekend out of state. Are you available any morning, or do you go out early in the morning, or what?
My mornings are tough, but afternoons.
I guess I could go from work one, you know, it's not that far away. Why don't you call me when you know you have an afternoon or something like
Okay.
that? I'm only around this week, what's today? Tuesday. I'm only around tomorrow, Thursday, I'm leaving, going home on Monday, so I'll be around next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, going to California on Friday, so,
All right, I'll give you a call.
yeah, give me a holler.
All right, thank you, Steve. Anything else?
That's it, I'm thinking now.
Okay, Ingrid?
Okay, first of all, I think we will all forwarded the communication from Freeholder Kern regarding the bicycle route. And, they would really like Cohaccom to approve a route through the township, and this letter has suggested that we consider approving a route that takes it up Carpentersville Hill from South Main Street to Overly, and then make a left and go up to Winters Road, turn right, go down to the bottom of the hill, turn right, go on Creek Road to where we would turn left to go over the bridge to get on River Road. Or Plan B would be to Carpentersville Road to Overly, down Snyder's Road to the intersection, turn left to go around that corner of that airplane curve where the doctor got injured and so on. Now, we did examine that route when I did my presentation in December. We did not look at the route that he suggested going left off of Overly up to Winter, going down Winter Road to the stop sign and going on Creek Road.
I went to, I guess it's something that I happened to go to a New Jersey Devils hockey game with Freeholder Kearns, and, I think, so I asked him about that, I knew it was out there, he said, "Did you see my letter?" I said, "Yeah, I saw it." I said, "You're picking on your old township here," but, I guess the gist of it is just you guys know that, I guess they feel it'd be a nice little feather in the cap of the county as a cultural thing. That's really, as I understood, where they're kind of coming from. They think could be nice from a, tourism, cultural thing, that we're part of this national group. So he understands our issue too, but that's kind of what the county is coming from, just so you guys know.
I prefer to not see them on Winter Road. I don't know how the other resident of Williamsburg feels, but I prefer not to see him there.
Well, you do have a farm stand out there, you might get.
Oh, yeah, the bikers don't tend to stop.
Yeah, that one just stop buying vegetables.
They usually just, straight down the hill.
Okay, so what I did was I reached out to Chief Ross, and I think in order to respond to this appropriately, if we had more concrete information regarding our safety concerns and the geography concerns and DPW concerns and so on, if we had concrete information to support our concerns about a route on our rural roads such as we had last time, it was more general, but if we had more specific information, Chief, you haven't had time to really research this, right?
May I?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
You're not gonna get the stats that you would look for to say that there's a definitive issue, but my issue is if we have one fatality, the cost that a fatality could cost the township, I think you have to outweigh that. That outweighs everything. Also, I mean, if there's issues with, do we approve it or not, the individuals that I think we should be talking to is the insurance company that would cover us in a lawsuit, and allow them to go and look at the routes and say what they think, because they're the ones that are gonna have to present a case on a claim, and they're the ones that are gonna have to look at everything and either pay the money or not pay the money. So that might be a good idea, that instead of us putting, or you asking me, I'm not gonna be able to give you stats that say we shouldn't do it. I can tell you that right now. But I think the insurance company would wanna see what could be possibilities, and they might have, some better answers for you to say, I don't think you should do it, or they might say, yeah, sure, we'll cover whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And so maybe that would be maybe have the Freeholder Kearns letter forwarded to Sharon Cooper, our risk manager. If you'd like to do that, or Wanda Ireland, or whatever. Let me do that, and I'll copy you, and I'll copy Wanda. And I'll copy the chief too, so that she can respond, so we'll all be kind of in a loop, and we can revisit that next month. I think that's a great idea.
They're the ones that deal with it now.
Right.
So might as well let them see what the future could hold, and they might be able to form an opinion based off the facts that are presented.
I will do that and circulate
Thank you
that.
so much. And I'm not trying to be snarky here, but this thought as I was dusting today came across. Would the freeholders be willing to assume complete legal liability for any incident action lawsuit as a result of them advocating for routes through Cohasset?
It's funny.
Come on.
That is funny.
Just saying.
You're dusting, huh? What were you dusting? Where'd you breathe that dust?
I just wondered, is there any legal foothold for, they're pushing for this, they want it to go through the township?
I tried to reach out to her. What was that?
I just wondered if there was any legal foothold for assigning responsibility since they're pushing for
it's
this.
township
Yeah,
road
I could write the best release indemnification agreement in the world, but they're never gonna sign it.
Okay. All right, so then the other option would be, since the county's pushing for this, if you remember in my presentation, I suggested a route where they come down 519, and instead of taking those back roads down to Phillipsburg, that they go down 519 past Parker's Hollow, turn left on Liberty Road, go through Stewartsville, where we'll get all the historic pretty sites, and then that nice road over, crossover there to Orange Glen Bloomsbury Road, and then they can just stay on the county roads and take, that would just limit their, it would provide more visibility for them on those roads than taking Creek Road or River Road. I know there was more traffic, but
Far more plus truck traffic. I mean, 519 is a designated truck route.
County's idea, put them on county roads.
Well, I don't disagree, Steve, but I'm just,
I feel like they do in California, put a bike lane.
bike lane?
Yeah,
I suggest they put a bike lane in.
Yeah.
yeah, see if they're spending money for that.
Why don't we see what our insurance carrier has to
Great
say,
idea.
and then go from there.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You follow up with, with her, and then we'll table that till, we get some answers.
All right, we were participants in Read Across America. Yeah, last night at the school.
We were looking for you, I didn't see you.
Yeah, so I had a totally different experience than you guys did, because I guess I came in the front door, and Brad Kisselbach and I were, taken by a teacher into a faculty room. We got there at 5:15, we couldn't get into the school until like 5:25, because nobody would let us in. And then we got shuttled off into a side faculty room where there was pizza and salad, and the teacher said, "Enjoy pizza and salad, and we'll come and get you." So we had our pizza and salad, and I was talking to Brad, and nobody came to get us.
Oh, really?
So we're looking at the clock, and it was like, I think our sessions might have started. So we're like, yeah, well, they're not coming for us. So then we went out and like, where's our rooms? And by the time I got to my room, of course, the first session was in progress, and I had 0 people in the room. And I walked in the room, there was no book, no extra book, there was no escort, no volunteer. And then second session, I did get a couple in there, and that was kind of nice. But then I learned that I had to stamp homework passes. Did you guys?
Yeah,
Passport.
I didn't have the stamp. Did you have stamp?
That was all.
That was all in your bag, you had to get it at the back door.
Oh,
They had
okay.
all the bags set
So,
up.
just to let you know, if you didn't see me last night, that's why.
That's
I
why.
didn't see John either.
And,
I was there.
and I
Double
did,
D.
share my experience with Susan, who arranged all of this.
Right.
And she, didn't realize that some of us may have come through the front door of the school and they had no plan in place to deal with that. So, I just wanted to explain that to you.
We wouldn't even known you were late.
I
Even
would,
I was there.
I wouldn't have been there only because Councilman Melvin called me wanting to know what to wear, because my email said May 2nd. So, it did work out at the end, but yeah, it wasn't quite as organized as it was, last year.
Okay. Next, I'd like you to know that I was appointed by the freeholders to the County Bicentennial Committee. There's going to be a celebration in a few years, celebrating the bicentennial of Warren County. And I'm really excited to be involved with that, because we're going to be creating activities that will celebrate Warren County's heritage over the past few hundred years. And being involved with the Historical Society and Commission in our township, I'm looking forward to working with both of those entities to represent Cohasset. So I just wanted to let you know that. My first meeting is, their meetings are the third Tuesdays. However, they meet at 5, so I ought to be able to make our council meetings. Regarding the Historical Commission, the time capsule that was located in Shimer was moved to Blacktown School. Regarding the recent land use board meeting at the Kaiserman property, at that meeting, we advised the land use board that any change of use of that property, they should appear before the Historical Commission, and I looked up that ordinance on E-code, and yes, indeed, they should, to discuss what they plan to do with the property. I believe that Michael Margulies told me there are 6 properties that were identified as historical sites in this township that require appearances before the Historical Commission, and we need to talk about that. Dave, that involves even like the stone pillars we were talking about. Okay?
Well, I actually talked to Michael about that stone pillar, and he said take a picture of it, but beyond that, that was all that needs to be documented.
Okay.
I was actually up there today with our road guys. The pillar is not gonna come out in one piece, almost guaranteed. It's to the point that the mortar is deteriorated in it, and as soon as they tug on it, it's gonna
Okay,
disintegrate.
okay.
So,
Did you get pictures?
I did not,
I'll-
if you
I'll
want
get
to.
pictures. I'll get pictures.
But they started work there today. Now, I don't know, yeah, they did, the pillar's still there, but they removed the trees and stuff around it to the point that they can remove it.
Thank you. All right,
Just to add a note about the time capsule, I did, speak to Diane and Andrea at the school, obviously, they were interested in it, and I coordinated with Mike, I copied you in, what Mike had recommended is a rededication ceremony for the time capsule, and perhaps probably more of a proclamation than anything coming from, or a resolution coming from this body, just for that rededication, so just to put that out there.
okay, I'm not sure if I got a copy on that email, or I didn't see Mike's also, but if you could resend that to me, I appreciate that, thank you. Regarding the Shiner School update, DPW did a great job with getting the junk into the dumpsters, fantastic job. They also helped move the wooden chairs over to Shiner School this week on a really nice day. The picnic table and the community garden watering system were moved off-site. I believe Kevin was help with that.
I took care of the water stuff, and then the mayor and Eric Brisson took care of it.
Yeah, so that's terrific. Also, Councilman Melvin helped move those old metal voter boxes over to Shiner Mansion and lug them up to the second floor. I moved the rest of the items, and I guess the only outstanding thing is regarding the records and the extra stuff in the trailer. So I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit, right? The records, yeah. Okay. Regarding the Shiner store, I'm in contact with Kurt Rice. I spoke with him this morning, and this is his report regarding his restoration project at the store. Drawings were supplied, permits were sought 2 weeks ago, and the plans were then had to be resubmitted for some updates that the people looking at them required. Permits are in the works along with the electrical permit, and he expects to have them very soon, like this week or next week. Scaffolding went up on the west side to close in the leaks, and he hoped to have the roof enclosed by today. He's really hoping that his crew would get it done before it started raining today. He has a crew of 4 working on the building. One dumpster has been filled with interior debris from the second floor, and another dumpster is on order. The focus is the stabilization of the building, which will occur in phases. The second floor joists will be installed in sections that will help to stabilize the walls and make the building secure. Once that stabilization is accomplished, the second floor will be redone, and he hopes to keep, well, he's planning to keep the original staircase that goes up to the second floor intact and incorporate that in the restoration. He also mentioned that he increased his liability insurance policy to make it more comprehensive for the site.
I saw that dumpster down there just yesterday, I think, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So,
Yeah, I did see some stuff.
I mean, I appreciate the report, I appreciate that after, how many, 15 years, we're finally getting some progress. The first meeting that he was here, when we kind of gave him his first day of execution, he was with Michael Margulies, and I specifically asked for a project plan of what's going to happen. So now I'm hearing phases, and what I don't want to see here is a Band-Aid put on this that says, oh, we did some work, we did some dumpsters. I would like to see what we originally requested, a project plan that details out, especially if it's going to be in phases. Here's what the plan is. I appreciate that we're actually seeing the actual, but we need to know what's going on. This project was supposed to be completed over a decade ago, and he never started working until just now.
Okay, I will get that. I have a meeting with Mike Marley on Thursday, and I will get what he has, because he seems to be the project engineer on this, okay?
Yeah.
Kevin,
Hold on.
if they would stabilize the roof and put the second floor back up, right, we couldn't push them much beyond that if they wanted to do it in phases.
Well, the walls need to be pointed, they're destroyed. There's a lot that needs to be done to the facade.
I forget what the initial requirements were, I can look at that.
The entire facade hadn't been done in 2 years, all outside of this, that's been done.
But, yeah, I think we were focusing on exterior stabilization, he was right, so, but yeah, probably roof, walls, windows, all that stuff on the outside. The inside is, would be really, in terms of timeframes, you get
That's
to
up to
him.
them, that's fine.
And that has separate, New Jersey State historical standards that he has to follow. He actually, I think, needs to get approvals from, GIPSO or whatever, the acronym is for Historical Society. So it's the outside that we control. But yeah, no problem. We can have, if you want, not every meeting, but every other meeting, maybe get.
That's what we had to set up, that's,
Right.
right? It's supposed to be every other meeting. Now, the last meeting was January 21st, that was the meeting I wasn't here. And so this would be every other meeting tonight.
Maybe pass along with Mr. Weiss, we'd like to see him at our next meeting for those updates.
I mean, it does seem like, to me, the thing in my ear when Mike was here was the fact that he indicated, on the record, not to take it at face value, that he had bought out all the other owners of that stone soup. And it seems like that's had a positive impact on his ability. It seems like, and it wasn't just him, we had a couple other people in that group of members here. They couldn't agree on what day it was, and I think that's part of the big reason it stayed for so long. So I agree with Kevin, we need to keep the feet to the fire, but I think hopefully that what you're seeing now is because you have civil ownership and the ability to.
Hopefully they've turned the corner.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and just in comparison to that, the stabilization at Chimer Mansion went really well with that kind of work that is being described, because at Chimer Mansion, we had severe roof issues, leaks, the perimeter of the roof, the parapet, I think Mike referred to it, we got grants, we rebuilt that, so, and we're working on that in phases as well, so, it seems to be following closely.
Well, the big challenge is, it's been, like I said, over a decade, they didn't meet the restrictions that were put in there. This council has given them plenty of leeway for that period of time, and now we've requested some stuff, and in good faith, we've actually extended that out. We could have taken action, we didn't take action, so now it's time to be that reciprocated.
And just as an aside regarding the next meeting, he is traveling quite a bit to the west where he has some work going on there. So I'm sure if he can be here, he will, but if he can't, it's because of his job.
So I would expect that the next 2 meetings, one of them will work with the schedule. Or if he's gonna send Mike.
Or have send somebody else to get
Right, send a representative.
Project
Yeah.
manager, whatever it may be.
Okay.
I don't mean
I'll
to sound
mention-
like a hard ass, but, again, we need to keep on top of it.
Okay.
Is there a basement underneath that, or is it built?
Yeah, that's the basement,
Is there?
it is basement where the whole.
How is the first
That access is from
floor,
the riverside.
how is the first floor as far as,
I'm sure if the second floor fell down into the first floor, the
Right.
first floor isn't that good either.
he's good either?
Yeah, I don't understand it, for 10 years or more, he did 3/4 of the roof and then left it, he started from the top and went down, which is
Usually do
the
the other
hardest
way.
as I've ever seen, if I'd like to say that here.
Yeah.
And then he never got, when he got to within about, 5 or 6 feet from the walls, he stopped. So all the water ran down the roof, the nice new roof, into the building for years.
Anything else, Ingrid?
Yeah, regarding the municipal building storage areas where I showed you pictures of
Right.
the stuff that was in there, you had made a trip over there after I showed those pictures.
We're gonna try to eliminate some of that unused equipment through our, auction site, correct, chief?
Yes.
I wanna have a meeting with our heating, guy, Scotts Mountain, what is it, Wanda, Scotts Mountain?
Yes, Al Jarvis, Scott's Mountain Heating
Make
and
sure
Cooling.
none of that equipment in there will ever need use, and if not, get it out of there and, make some more room downstairs.
Okay, what's your timeline for that?
Not as concerned as it was before, but within the next 6 months. We had a lot of spare parts down there for the building that we were, I won't say we were unaware of, but we didn't realize what we had. There was a lot of stuff that we could utilize, sort through some of the stuff. Some of the stuff, it's sad to say, is just better to go in the dumpster. There was a lot of paint down there to go through, but, there again, now with the records, finding the home, and we're not as pressed for area, but that equipment room needs to get cleaned out, for sure.
Yeah, and Sandra was kind enough, so you wouldn't have to go through another PowerPoint. These are some pictures of that one room where it was, if you remember, it was quite chaotic with.
That was the one in the back
And
there.
it's really straightened up quite nicely after, interventions, and I thought you'd be glad to see that. Okay, I guess this will come up later regarding the archive area. I'm interested in knowing any update on what to do about the Greenwich court records, but we can talk about that later. Shiloh Mansion is going to be holding an open house on Saturday, April 12th, on Saturday, the Saturday after Easter. It's not the 12th, I forgot to write the.
That's towards the end of the month.
Yeah, like the mid-April, like past mid-April. So I think Easter is like the 11th or 12th.
No, it's later than that, I thought.
No,
Oh, before the days from,
No, whatever.
yeah, whatever. We're gonna have
Easter
an
is
open.
the 12th,
Easter, though, is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so that
so the
was.
Saturday after would be the 18th.
Okay, the 18th, okay. So we're gonna have an open house there, we'll apply for an event permit from 12 to 4, and this is an opportunity to have local residents learn about the future township cultural center, because, as you know, that's what we'd like it to be, a place where residents can have experiences with art, music, sculpture. We hope to have sculpture gardens on site. And so many people I've come across say, oh, I really like to go in the building. So we're hoping to have an open house that will encourage residents, especially in the Shimer area, come to see the building, sign up for volunteer activities, sign up for some of the renovation work, stick some money in the jar for renovations and so forth, and learn about the Historical Society and Commission and get involved. And I was wondering, can this go on the township webpage, being that it's a Historical Society event, not a Historical Commission event?
I have no objection.
I don't have any objection.
Me neither.
Great. Okay. I'll get that over then. Okay, regarding the county health department report, I reached out to Pete Summers, and he gave me a little bit of a report. Apparently, he has given his staff a week at the end of the month to prepare the report, and I was thinking, oh, we have a meeting tonight, and of course, it's only March 3rd, so he said, well, this is what we've got so far. On the 7th of February, a dog owner got bit by his dog, and the dog was confined for 10 days and returned, and he's fine and healthy. And regarding septic and wells, there was one septic alteration permit issued and one septic repair. And there were some food safety inspections. These following establishments were inspected and passed: Ruby Tuesday, Pepiani Grill and Sushi Buffet, Bud Shop, and Wawa.
Everybody passed, you said?
Yeah, everybody got a satisfactory.
You sure I heard that before I go to dinner tonight?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool. I just noticed the Bud Shop in the township.
Yeah.
Mike's property.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Okay. That's it for my report.
Thank you, Ingrid. Kevin?
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I apologize, one more. Township resident named Joe Nagy, who lives at 508 Pennsylvania Avenue, reached out to me today. Apparently, well, his father passed. His father bought the house in 1954, and that's prior to our ordinances to having COs.
Stay away from that. Yeah, I think we had about 7 pro se lawsuits from the Navys on that, zoning issues. That's.
Okay, well, this doesn't have anything to do with zoning issues. He has his roommate that apparently is getting supplemented by the affordable housing, like, what is it, like Section 8 or something like that, and they require a statement from the township saying it's okay, that there's not an official CO, that it is in fact grandfathered, the fact that this house was built, people lived in it prior to the township requirements for COs.
I don't think we was given out for existing, for like a resale existing house.
No, we don't.
That's all he's looking for. We can do.
That's all he's looking for is for a document from the township officially stating that that house is grandfathered, it does not require an official CO, because apparently through the housing,
Warren County Housing
services, they require this as part of their, file for the person that they're supporting.
Who would issue that, or zoning, or would it come from the state?
Well, he's been in touch with Rossi, and Rossi put him in touch with somebody named Carl. I looked on our township directory.
I can do that.
Carl McAleer is the fire marshal, and the way Mr. Nagy left him a message, Carl thought he was asking for a carbon monoxide and smoke certification, because Cohacton doesn't require a certificate of occupancy, either only at new construction. For any resale, they do not. But we do require the carbon monoxide and smoke detector. And Carl tried to call him back, but the number he gave him must be wrong because he couldn't reach him.
And I can do that letter as a township attorney, just indicating we don't have a CO requirement.
Or whatever, only new construction.
Or a requirement.
I'm assuming that if they're giving the money for somebody to be in there, that they've done inspections and make sure there's, smoke detectors and so on and so forth, but,
Let's mention that, that.
well, if you can, that's what I'm gonna say, if you can ask him what agency exactly he wants this letter to go to, I can take care of that, maybe just email
I
him.
think he texted me,
Okay.
right before he left the
All right.
house, so
Yeah, just
I'll
something.
give that.
All right.
Okay, all right,
And I'll call down there and see if they want to do the letter.
thank you. Okay, I'm done.
Very good, thank you, Ingrid. Kevin?
With regard to municipal court, the last update, we don't have any numbers yet for the month of February, so that will be coming at our next meeting. With regard to our shared service agreement, as our attorney so eloquently stated after our last meeting, we're going to go continue on the status quo for now. With regard to PDAC, I provided the annual report at the last meeting. We haven't met yet this month, we'll be meeting next Monday. Fire department did provide me a copy of their budget proposal for the 2020 year, which I'll be reviewing with the mayor and also sharing with our CFO. In there, they're also asking us to start thinking about down the road, setting aside some budget for new equipment, specifically a truck. So just to share that with the wider team. Also, you'll notice that we each received a correspondence from the fire department tonight with regard to their annual dinner on March 28th. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for business. Myself and Councilman Van Loo attended last year. It's a nice event, so I recommend if anyone's available to perhaps stop by and get to break bread with our local firefighters. And then I'll look at the police chief, the chief for the police update.
I came with my budget stuff tonight.
Okay.
I thought that's what we were doing tonight. So I didn't do a statistic, I'll do that next week.
Okay. What's the status with the, you know what I'm gonna ask about, the auction for, go get the DOT stuff?
We actually we can go up now. The only problem is, Ryan Varsity is the,
Administrator or something?
and he's out, he had surgery, so he's out until the end of the month. So as soon as he gets back with the,
You can't have a backup person, you can't sign a second person?
yes, but he's the only one that learned how to do it, and we didn't get to learn, and then he went out on surgery, so I wouldn't even know where to go to get into it without him. And unfortunately, he's out for 4 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm biting at the bit for us to start taking, as you well know, I ask about all the time. So this is the DOT surplus program that we talked about, that there's free equipment, supplies available from the government that we can take advantage of to benefit our own township. So I know that, for example, there's a request from the DPW for a backhoe. Maybe we get a new backhoe from the government instead of the government.
I think that actually, Belvedere, first guy who participated in the same program about a year and a half ago. And, in fact, I mentioned to Jim Kern, Jim didn't want to do it at the time for some reason, and it's come back around, because the chief actually wanted to get it at the same time, a couple of years ago. And they decided not to at the time. I'm not throwing any stones about that, but I'm just telling you, in that time, Belvedere, in addition to getting stuff they needed, they made some strategic decisions, like, let's get this generator and that, and then they put them right back out to auction, and yes, they're actually a revenue.
Yeah.
Some of the equipment you get, you have to hold for a certain amount of time, which is most of your vehicles.
Yeah.
But they have gotten some great vehicles, but some of it, there's no restriction on, and they're selling generators at auction.
I think the biggest, you know, with regard to
It's taxpayers pay for it slightly, monthly or something.
That's it, I agree. And I think the biggest outlay would be, is if it's located, if you have to go.
You have to get it.
Transport.
Well, a lot of it was right down here for them, I think, it's right at 40. For kids, or whatever, yeah. I would, if you would like, I can make you an authorized user once. No, but then there's more eyes on it.
Definitely.
Because we might not be able to always. Right, because it goes really quick. So I don't care how many users we have, it doesn't matter to me.
And it's all kinds of things. I mean, it's office equipment, it's not just, when you think DOD, you're not talking about chips. Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff, so. Yeah. So, that's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilman Gollman. Councilman Stillo?
I have a short one. When the interviews, Kevin and I got scheduled together to hopefully start with the CFO in the weeks. And then we also asked Tom to post a CFO assistant, so we get that taken care of as well. We do have something to fill out in executive session regarding that. Also, on the agenda is the purchase of the software, so Access Secure, so hopefully that passed, we can start getting all the documents. Shimer, and digitalized, and I also asked Wanda to look at some pricing for future stuff to be digitalized as well, so that, you know, the place to store it, so let's put it on, Google. That is it.
What is the timeline for the documents getting out of Shimer with our closing room?
Depending, once we get this going with, past night, then we have the company come in and they're gonna take care of it.
So before the end of the month?
Absolutely. I think it's the week of March 18th, because I spoke to the women about, Councilman Stillo had asked me to get a proposal for the cost to digitize, scan, and keep records in the cloud. They will come out and give us a proposal on that, but I don't think it's something that the township's going to be able to incorporate into this year's budget, especially if we approve this. Danelle did say that funds are available, but she took money away from my advertising temporary budget to do it, but whatever. So, they will provide us a price for that, and I thought that might be something to consider for the future, like to start with all the construction permits, like scan those, have them in the cloud, and then do the tax assessor records, the land use board stuff. So everything that's related to lots and lots and everybody's individual homes would be saved that way. But, for now, she, said that if council were to approve their proposal, they, both of the women are going to be on vacation this weekend next, so I think it's the week of the 16th, 17th that they would be,
Do you have a firm contract on that, then, Wanda, I assume?
if we approve it, yeah. I just have to give them the go-ahead.
Outlined on it?
They will just come in and take everything right out. They take everything to their site, they will go through everything, rebox it, mark what retention series it is, how long it has to be maintained. They will also go online to the Artemis training and do all the record series for the items that can be destroyed. Give that to me, I will log on and approve it, send it to the auditors for their approval, then to the state. Once we get the state's approval, they will shred it. So for me, in my opinion, I know $6,000 is a lot of money, but it's 400 boxes, and until you count my time, the department heads, the shredding company, and the DPW's time, it's well worth it.
Yeah, it came in lower than I
Does this include the
expected.
trailer?
Yes.
I thought you doubled that.
John, thanks for reaching out, by the way, John reached out, I gave you some background. Again, and I emailed you guys, just so you guys can see what Wanda and we as a township have to deal with. If you saw that records management manual, it was about 100 pages.
Yeah.
If it was just as simple as shredding it, we could do it. But you have to actually categorize every single piece of paper up there, and then send that category list down to Government Records Council, and then they have to give you instruction to stack, and it would be a nightmare.
Right.
I think, and I mentioned, I think going forward, if you can budget for it, to digitize it's great, because that'll make future destruction way easier.
Yeah. Once you have it digitized, then you could get rid of all the paper, which,
You're allowed to get rid of paper.
yeah.
So, I appreciate that the scope we're talking about specifically here is the stuff with Shimer, the dated stuff. what are we doing now? Like, what's happening so that we don't get into this Shimer again? Is there a backlog still, that stuff that needs to be?
We have some room in our file room, but there is stuff back there that can be gotten rid of, but we can manage that on our own. The problem is, it's a time issue. There's not like each department head with the Artemis program, each department head is supposed to log in and do their retention, and I sign off because I'm the custodian of records for all the departments. And we don't have the staff to do it.
I did speak with Carrie. I know Carrie works with Wanda pretty closely. Carrie's been keeping up with the tax records, and so I think with the old problem solved, I think if you guys allocate just a little bit of money every year to digitize going forward, I think we'll be able to manage it pretty well. But that's the problem, and this is the first township. Somebody stuck their head in the sand for years, before, those files go so far back, that they should be periodically destroyed, but this is a one and done. I think from this point forward, we'll be able to, manage.
Better able to manage it.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks, John, for reaching out on that.
All right.
Does that price include the ones in the trailer?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Councilman Still. Moving on to my report, the Environmental Commission met last night. The majority of the discussion was wrapped around our budget. We had very little correspondence. I can't say there was any real hot topics last night, Councilman Nolan.
The only thing that did come up, and I questioned about, was the rain barrel project. I think it's scheduled for May 19th. And so, what I advised the chair was, that's just around the corner. May is not, he thought it was a little bit off, and I think if you are going to keep to that date, you need to get advertising out, especially if you want people to pre-sign up for that. So, we should get confirmation from that, if that's going to go forward, or if it's going to get pushed back, and if it is going to go forward, maybe get that on the website so people know.
No, I agree, and we need to see what kind of interest is expressed among the residents, and if there's not enough interest, then I assume we'll get put off. Either way, the barrels are still in my place, they're undercover, so they're not going anywhere. And I said that the bulk of the discussion was wrapped around the signage. We need to put some signage up on our rain garden, as well as updating some of the signage on the planning. I think more of the focus is going to be on the rain garden because there is no signage at all. And my understanding, you can get some stormwater education credits if we do that. We're trying to work with our engineers to make sure that we get enough education credits to satisfy that. I guess it's the box that we have to check on our...
Yes. There's a certain number of activities associated with different things to get stormwater management credit.
Right. The other thing is we're scheduled to receive that oak tree, I believe it's April 22nd, from the Great Salem Oak Tree in South Jersey. This is all done through the DEP. I'm going to coordinate with Les Nichols to find a spot here on the grounds that we can plant that oak tree. I'm just trying to think what else there is. I was contacted by Channel 69 News again in regards to the Phillipsburg Mall. Reporter Emma Wright and her cameraman came here last week, I believe it was either Thursday or Friday, and did a brief interview on the mall and where the mall's headed. It aired on 69 that night. They also reached out to Mayor Mengucci over in Lopakon. He gave his 2 cents on the mall as well. That was a pretty good piece. I'm going to stay in contact with her on other various things around Lopakon. I was at the land use meeting that Ingrid was at with the application for the Warren Business Park. The team didn't complete that night, but they are coming back, did I say March 30th?
Yeah.
Again with the application. Hopefully they have their punch list complete, the things they were looking for. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot more. I've been in touch with our tax assessor back and forth, trying to see where potentially our revenue, tax revenue is going to be this year versus last year. just, the mall is really moving in the backdrop there. I'm sure everybody on council is aware, where that could end up at.
The solar fields hit the first this year, right?
I asked her that, and she said the rollback, I don't think it's gonna be recognized on this year's taxes. Something about October.
October,
Right.
but that'll be doing payable this year.
Right. So that was my first thought, was the rollbacks alone would be significant, but again, October. Other than that, I don't really have anything more. I said, everybody's got a copy of the budget that Danell has put together. I don't think we're gonna have any discussion tonight. I don't see it on the agenda. I'd like everybody to take it home, review it, and maybe we'll do a workshop at the next meeting, unless, Chief, did you want to address anything? You said you had budget issues tonight or not?
Oh, no, I just brought I didn't know what we were doing, so I just brought.
Yeah, I said, it's not on the agenda, we've got a lot to get through, but I'd like everybody to take your budget worksheet home, review it, make notes, and then we'll work on it, next meeting, and see where we shake out at.
Wanda, there was a discussion last night at the Environmental Commission, with part of the, as Mayor Slack referenced, with the stormwater management credits, a lot of it's based on education. And with the sign, there was discussion about possibly having, just a web address that we could perhaps tack onto the Environmental Commission's page, where we could stick some of those scholarly articles or educational articles. Is that something, how do they go about doing that to create that space?
What do you mean scholarly
So
articles?
it's basically educational material. So let's say the sign says, here's what a rain garden is, it's about X, Y, and Z. You can only fit so much on a $250 2x3 sign, right?
Oh, right.
But for more information, see this address. So I was thinking, every commission's got a page. If we could have an area on the Environmental Commission's page.
I'm sure they could do that for us, yeah.
Okay. And do we just go through you for that?
Mhm.
Okay,
hmm
great. thanks.
Yeah, if you have a link or something that you would like, we can do that, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they get that situated before they create the sign, and
Mhm.
don't think it goes nowhere.
Okay.
You'll
Tell Eric.
All right, very good. Let's move on. We have some resolutions tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anybody have an issue with taking all of the resolutions together?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Babinski?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Melvin?
Yes.
Stillo?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. Ordinances for first reading. We have two ordinances, 20-02, 20-03. Kevin, you want to give us just a brief?
2002 is the amendment to our vehicles and traffic ordinance. That does several things. Remember, we had the people that were out here with respect to the speeding on Still Valley. So, at the last meeting, the chief recommended we reduce the speed to 25 miles per hour for its entire length. That's in there. We took care of the Cemetery Road issue. There was something there about ratifying that speed limit, I think, in there. We also put a no left-hand turn at the intersection of County Route 635 and Still Valley Road. That was another of the chief's recommendations. Chief, did I get that right? That'd be going eastbound, right? Okay, I was right on that one. One of the officers was reviewing our code and realized that we had parking prohibited on Bergen Street, which apparently is not a good idea. That's up by Shiner School, and there is parking there. And so the chief recommended that we remove that parking prohibition, so that's in there as well. The other big thing that's in there, and we've been talking about it for ever since we had all the issues last summer, basically, about trying to get control of the River Road. So we had an existing chapter in our ordinance, if you recall, that whole vehicles and traffic ordinance had to go down to DOT. It's all been approved. But we have a placeholder in there for parking by permit during certain hours and certain days. So I said, well, why don't we use that? So I created basically for River Road, the entire length, all locations, all hours, all days, you need a permit. And I set up some provisions for the chief took a look at these, I think he feels he can do it. He would create a little application form, the permit would be issued by the police, it'd be a sticker. You only get one permit for each vehicle, so, you can't pass them around his family. We did talk about this from a fee standpoint. I set it up, and again, this is up to you guys, but we can just move it on first reading. Hackensack Township residents, $25, non-residents, $250 per permit. But frankly, we're trying to discourage non-resident parking down there. C, I did indicate in the C that residents who actually physically reside on the street would not be damaged.
Okay, that was my question.
So I specifically, because, I don't think that's...
So what about guests, like?
if you're...
Is that the language gonna be in there, and their guests?
You gotta be careful.
Shire, son comes to visit?
I think as long as we just say residents, we're okay there. In the department, luckily, we have a local department, so, yeah. I think as long as there are people visiting that, a resident on the street, and it's, that would be okay.
Okay.
They'll
The
have
other-
no worries.
Right.
Yeah, so
the
So
other-
yeah.
The other question is this $250 per day?
No,
or-
it's an annual permit.
So
I mean, I
that-
can't go crazy.
So they could, in essence, get a $250 permit
Right.
and just come all summer?
No, because the second phase of this is now working on a local ordinance for trespassing.
Right, that's the
So,
next phase.
even if they get the $250 permit, they're not gonna be able to go over the tracks, because they're gonna be summoned or arrested for trespassing.
And if you guys want to make it 500, I don't know, I could go as high as
I'd
that.
like to see.
If you guys want, listen,
That's fine.
We're trying to...
I'd like to waive the resident one.
The real question is, do
Well,
we
the
need,
one resident one I put in there was like, if you don't live on the street, but you don't want any resident to have,
As
we
far as
should
I'm
have certain.
concerned, the residents, they get paid enough in taxes, and frankly, for what they're getting for the taxes they're paying, I'm not apt to go and tax them more through these other avenues.
Scott,
I'm just concerned with putting a zero in, so, in terms of just...
It's sort of like the dog licensing, right? Like there's a late fee. It's there, but it's not there.
Right.
So,
do we need,
Well, I mean, I can make it five.
$5,
$500, we can do it that way. And again, residents on the street, I thought specifically. So those are the big changes in that ordinance, Mayor. The other ordinance, general county ordinance.
yeah, but Kevin, go back to
I'm sorry,
that.
go ahead, Steve.
Do we need signage, like
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
we're gonna need signage once we
snow
pass
plowing,
it.
the ordinance for snow plowing,
Yeah.
for parking during snow days and all that?
We'll
You have to have signage out for that.
Okay,
So we need
that sign
signage
is already
to-
there for anywhere you enter the township.
Okay.
So the judge agrees with, as long as there's
Well, you have to have it out
signage
for the
when you
judge.
enter township, we're okay.
Right,
So,
okay.
and we did that years ago, so anytime you enter this town, you see the snow ordinance,
Right.
ordinance there.
No, I understand that. Yeah, it's not every residence, so you need the same thing for this, that's what I'm saying.
We'll put this right down on River, and we can cite the ordinance, it'll say, parking permit only, cite, ordinance 271-16, boom, okay.
Okay, so what if they, get a bus, a permit for a bus?
I won't allow it.
Yeah, there's no way to get bus parking down there.
They have to go through me.
Okay.
All the permits have to be drawn from the chief,
Right.
and each permit is going to be license oriented, or license plate oriented.
The only verbiage that should go in the ordinance,
Commercial vehicles can be prohibited altogether, I suppose.
or we could also put in there that at the discretion of the chief of police also.
Yes.
Like, if you wanted $250, but you can also be disqualified if during the time I feel that they're gonna be doing something. Can't we put verbiage in there with that it gives me that authority to say, yeah, we're just not.
Why don't we add a section that no permits will not be issued for commercial vehicles?
Or the chief has the right to refuse issuance of any permits for any reason.
No,
That'll free yourself up, though.
it does, but I can craft some language about commercial vehicles.
Yeah, we gotta be a little bit crafty, that's it, then we'll just handle it.
And then I think there should, and I don't know what goes in this, I don't know if we'll have to run this ordinance per se, but the revocation, of the permit. So that, I think you need to have some provisions in there that, if they're found doing something that's illegal or whatever, that permit can be revoked. That needs to be some
But
sort of.
that can be language that, because my thing is,
Well,
if we don't charge them,
Right.
right? Like, say, for instance, we go down there and we feel that they're doing something they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
To me, can we do the discretion where it's up to the chief of police to revoke their permit at any time for violations of?
Right on the
In the
application.
permit.
Right, but we don't have to charge them and send them to municipal court.
Right.
We could just say, no, we're pulling it.
Right.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Well, having the commercial stuff would eliminate any tubing problems or anybody that might want to.
For buses and
Yeah,
stuff like that, but I'm
exactly,
saying, allow me the right to revoke at any time for even,
Yeah,
non-commercial.
Right, okay.
I'll have a provision on that, and then you can put it right in the application. So, oddity, the need for no commercial vehicles, including only 2 buses, multi-car vehicles, that type of thing, track trailers and.
How about a bicycle permit? Posted right down there, River Road, there's bicycle permit, $5 a ride you down.
Yeah, that's what we could do with the county. We'll give them the grant that, but we're gonna put a toll bridge in down on Creek Road. Every bicycle that wants to get down there has to
They
get it.
got easy passes on the button.
There you go. I like that idea.
There we go, done.
So that'd be that ordinance, and I'll make those amendments and one of them publish it with those first reading. Okay? Once you got to do it. The second one, the general penalty, we have a master ordinance for all fines, and it was frankly a little bit out of date. So I just brought it up to speed, so it complies with the statute. And, basically, you can't impose a minimum penalty greater than 100 for legal conduct. And the maximum is 2,000, and there's some other provisions. So I just brought it up to speed.
Didn't we have this issue when Sal was doing all the foreclosure stuff or the maintenance stuff?
Yeah, he wanted to, yeah.
Like
so,
$500.
yeah. It is rules, the statute mandates what it is, and then beyond that, you have to give discretion to the judge, but as the chief knows, if we tell Judge Ballinger, hey, Judge, if we had like a violation down there on the road, we want, we'd ask, we encourage you to be vigilant on that. People will get the message on that, and he has the discretion, he just can't handle it.
Yep.
So
Well, I had a question about the repeat offender fine.
that's right out of statute.
You can't make it higher for those repeat offenders. It seems like after a certain time
No,
period,
but-
then they just go back to $100. There doesn't seem to be much deterrence there.
I hear you, I don't know why they can't do one more to repeats, but he can, again, he can. We just by statute can't set a higher minimum.
What's
repeat
the
offender.
statute?
That's right out of the 40A, whatever it's that, I can send it to you.
That's our statute? or
No, no,
that's
it's state statute.
Okay, fine, okay, learning.
State statute.
Okay.
Those are your 2 ordinances. I think this one, and as Chief and I were talking before me, I'm working on a, you and I are gonna work on a private, our police department enforcement of private no trespassing ordinance. I found one I think we can use. I think the 2 things, but that signage is gonna let us regain control of your River Road, and, in a big way.
And is the railroad, did you talk to them when they put the signs up?
There's a couple signs that were put up.
Or even, it'd be worth our money if we have to spend it.
I'm gonna take care of the signs, but there will be up before the nice weather.
Before the nice weather.
They'll be on the agenda next
We need a motion.
Before somebody wants to do it.
Monica, can we take a motion to read both of those at least, because last?
Yeah, and then we could do second reading at the March 17th meeting, if everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll make a motion, we,
As amended?
Yeah.
yep,
And I'll second it.
Okay, Babinski?
yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Melvin?
Yes.
Stillo?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. All right, so they'll be on the agenda at the next meeting. Ordinances for second reading, we have none. We have 3 motions. The one motion, as we had talked about, is for the records at the Shimer School.
and the trailer actually in the back as well. We have some in the, air seat container in the back.
Well, we'll have to have our DPW move them up to the Shimer School, because they're only gonna come to one place.
Okay, no problem, but that's the amount that was agreed upon then?
Yes.
All right, can we take all three together then? Does anybody have any issues with that?
Nope.
The only question I had, Don, you're here, last year, when I did the notice done for the lawn mowing stuff, we put a mandatory meeting or something the week before, so we could go over the things. Do you want similar language in this notice, Don? Like last year, we set up, like, this year, the bids would be open on our next meeting, 17th, so I was gonna pick like, say, like March 10 or 11 or something. Is that, do you want a meeting, or you don't think you need one anymore? or-
I'm not gonna be here.
Guys, Wanda, do you?
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should.
You think you should? Okay, I'll leave it in there then.
Mayor, real quick, on the lawn ordinance, do we ever think about a 3-year, or so it would go each year?
Mostly
A lot of
notice
times-
2.
Or a 2-year, only because sometimes they'll give better pricing, because they know they were locked in for 2 years.
Okay, if I'm trying, we want to take, I can throw in an alternate.
I mean, my only thought is if you're not happy with the contract, then you're stuck with
He did
another
real
year.
well, the guy this last year did real well last.
Yeah, and it was inexpensive.
Yeah.
Very
You
inexpensive.
know what, John, but, I mean, we can throw it in as an alternate.
Yeah.
In the bid spec.
Yeah.
As an option on our part.
And then we can extend it to the second.
Good idea, John, we can do that. Wanda, I'll modify my bid spec then for you.
Okay. Can you get that to me tomorrow, Kevin, so I can get that
I
advertised?
gave you all the specs already.
Well, to add this part that you give
Oh,
me?
I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
We can still go ahead and make a motion.
Yeah, but I mean, just the notice. Okay.
So, Kevin, with regard to the scope of the lawn mowing contract, are you pulling Shimer out? Or how is that, how detailed is the
It's
RFP?
details, every park and every street that we always have done.
So Shimer's gonna be off our rolls by the end of the month, so we should take that out of the scope.
Yeah, I'll take that out and add in the 2-year option. That's a good point. Yeah, we can cut
And is
that
it all one, or do you have 2 different ones that you?
We always had one for reasons I won't go into, it's broken out to, candidly, it should be one. We're really not supposed to be breaking out bids like that for similar services in a 12-month period. I think
Is that back to one, or is
it's
it
back to one,
Okay.
that one bid for the whole township, basically, about, take out Shiner, people like, that we can just do a couple trims there if we have to,
Yeah.
before it sells.
And the other piece is, that's up in the air, but I don't think we can take action, is we've discussed, Councilman Still and I evaluating some of these other Green Acre properties and swapping them out from the school property, but I expect that would be an even swap. When we do it, so I wouldn't worry about that scope right now, in fact, we can move forward.
We can do an amendment, it's not, for the contract within 20%, I'm sure that's not gonna cost 20%. Okay, yeah, so we're just gonna motion on those 3 motions as amended.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Dubinsky,
Yes.
Melvin. I'm sorry, I forgot Ingrid Gray. Sorry. And Melvin,
I'm still yes.
Dillo, and Slack.
Yes. Public comments, any general public comments this evening? Come forward, sign in. Seeing none, we need, an executive session. All right,
Personnel and, contract,
What, do we expect to take action or not?
yes.
Yes, so maybe,
Okay, so we may take action if anybody from the public wants to stay, but you stay long enough, you can torture. Absolutely, please. Yeah, so
I'll move to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Not ready yet.
Okay, so that was Steve and who?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we had a discussion about, our former assistant finance officer's offer to come back on a part-time basis. And, the final discussion, I think we're looking for a motion to authorize Councilman Stillo to finalize a counteroffer which would, meet his salary, bi-weekly salary requirements that require the additional hours we discussed, in the executive session.
And make sure that you understand that it's a part-time basis or a
Interim.
interim basis permit,
The
yes.
motion to, have Councilman Stillo finalize the negotiations for Brian Porter to be our interim assistant finance officer.
I'll make the motion.
So moved, a second.
Okay. Babinski.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Stillo.
Yes.
Slack.
Yes.
And just for the record, if he accepts that, John, we'll keep him going right now and just memorialize that at our next meeting. Yes. Then we want to authorize Wanda to advertise for that same position, for resumes for the assistant in the finance office. At a salary to be determined, you want to set a range?
Yeah. We'll just leave it so, yeah.
So moved.
Part-time, second.
Yeah. Part-time.
John, were you the second?
Kevin?
Kevin, okay. Babinski.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Stillo.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Slack.
Yes.
Beyond those two items of action, just for the benefit of the record, our subcommittee, Councilman Melvin, Councilman Stillo, gave us updates on the negotiations of the police chief's contract and the PBW contract. PBA. PBA.
And
And,
the chief's contract is with the mayor and myself, and that's what
no action being taken at this point in time, although appears to be some progress, and we'll hope to wrap those up shortly. And, there was the other issue discussed was Ed Miranda's request to, somehow create a salary resolution line item, just to help them keep that special officer shirt. And what we're gonna do is, I'll send the draft something down to our CFO and auditor and see, make sure they're okay with it. And if they're okay with it, they're okay with it. Okay? And I think that was it, so we'll discuss.
Hey, that was fun.
So I hear a motion to adjourn?
Wait, we didn't get to any new business? Excuse me.
Okay, Ingrid, do you have some new business?
Well, I just had a suggestion. When you go to our township website and you look at the directory, some departments have extensions, 3-number extensions.
Okay.
And I find that confusing, and I'd like that rectified on the page so that it's consistent. We don't have extensions anymore. It's just you go in, you get the message that you can dial, push 1 for this or 2 for that.
Yeah, but I thought you
But it says if you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time.
So we still have those 3
Yeah, the
numbers?
extensions still do work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they do? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them need to be updated. I know like the police
Because it's,
directory still has, I think, the Bri on it and some other officers that are no longer on the...
Everybody wants to remember Dean.
okay, well, that's the voice message, because he says our options have changed.
Oh,
He says,
shame.
he doesn't say if you know your extension, dial it now. He says our options have changed. And then he goes through menu 1, and then you can go to menu 2. It doesn't say you can also dial the extension number.
You want to coordinate with Wanda and see if we can amend that recording then?
Just like to make it simple for the public.
I get that. Any other new business?
Motion adjourned?
Second. Is it what?
Cost to that.
Yeah, there is.
To change all the directions.
Change
Yep.
all that,
We
yeah.
can't do it ourselves.
We have to call in Dave
come in
Cooper.
and Change it all, and there's a cost to that. Just so you're
That's
aware.
why it's the same, because there's been a cost to it.
Good.
But
So-
sleeping dogs lie.
Yes.
Thank you, chief. I get it now. I'm new. Okay,
Yeah, but you catch on fast.
I do. Okay.
Okay, who was the second to adjourn?
Oh, I motioned to.
You motioned it and John seconded it? Okay.
Aye.
Low
The way the system was made,
Greenwich.
the system wasn't made, we could do